And hey guys, welcome back to the channel, back with the Wandering Mariner. So tonight we're talking about entry-level positions with getting into the merchant marine fields. And if you are brand new, like you haven't sailed before at all in any of the branches of military, or you're just thinking that you've heard about being a merchant mariner and you're like, this sounds like a really cool gig and I want to get into it, but where do I go and how, like, where's the best place to go to start out? And I got a really great question yesterday, and I'm trying to take your guys' questions in order, but this one is kind of like starting out. So that's kind of where I want to begin. And this is all about entry-level positions and talking about the differences between like Military Sealift Command and SIU, which is Seafarers International Union, which is unionized commercial merchant mariners. So I got this question from the Mech Romancer, and I hope that you like mechanical stuff. But his question is MSC a good entry into the maritime career field? I would be interested in joining to get the experience, but my fear is that SU, which is a steward utility, would be the only thing offered, and I hear it's hard to get out of. So this is kind of the nightmare scenario for a lot of people that kind of get into MSC. And I think we'll come back to MSC, but let's first talk about like Seafarers International Union, which I think that if you are starting out, if I was going to weigh those two, I would probably say, based on what you're telling me, is you want to get work experience and you want to be getting into what you want to do right away. Seafarer International Union's apprenticeship program is really like your first year in that apprenticeship program is full on in your face, getting lots of experience kind of going into the fields you want to go of either culinary, wiper, or deck. You don't spend a lot of time goofing around in other things, right? So when you go through Seafarer International Union's schoolhouse, which is in Piney Point, Maryland, they send you through like 16 weeks of classroom, and then you have like 260 days of sea duty assignments that you're going to be going out. And when you go out and sail for SIU, they are, for one, they're guaranteeing your first assignment after you finish all your training and after you do all your grunt work. So like the first year is you are humping and working and learning about shipboard life and everything you need to know for the commercial world. Then you're going to get assigned to your first ship. And when you go out to your first ship and you get that sea time under your belt, you're automatically a B book. So for the difference between SIU, which is commercial mariners, and Military Sealift Command, which are federal employees, which are mariners, they're federal employees. These guys are just commercial seamen. They are doing it, and they're in the union. Now, union against non-union, there's a lot of questions on which is better and which is better for you. And I can only tell you about my personal opinion about what I see is like been better experience and just quality of life, I should say. But SIU is a really great place to get your feet wet. And if you want to get into becoming a wiper or get into engineering and get down there and start working on the mechanics right away, I think SIU is going to be a faster route to get there. Although you are going to earn it. It is not going to be easy. There is a big difference in the way that the snowplow is coming by, because we just got pounded with snow this afternoon here in Wisconsin. But so SIU is going to work you a lot more, and you're going to get a lot more hands-on experience right away, where when you come to Military Sealift Command, you kind of have your kids' gloves on. You, like you were saying, you get assigned possibly as a steward utility when you start out, and you have to do so much time, and you have to kind of dig in to get that training where SIU is going to force feed you right into it right away, but you are going to work your butt off. I'm going to tell you, when I worked for SIU, we worked. There wasn't a lot of gabbing. There wasn't a lot of chatting. It was all about getting the ships loaded and unloaded and moving and to the next spot. There were no days off in foreign ports. I asked the master of the boat one time, I was like, because I'd been on board for like 75, 80 days straight, hadn't had a day off the ship. And I said, what if I don't want to work overtime today and just, take a little bit of time off today? He's like, oh, no problem. Pack your bag and get off the ship. It was like that straightforward, because when you're on a ship for SIU, you're there to work, and that's it. There are really no days off for the most part. You are loading, discharging, and moving to the next port, because you have to make money. That company is there to make money, and they've hired you on to make money as fast as possible. Where Military Sealift Command is a federal job. Move a little bit slower. You're working for the government. Oh, we don't have to be here for a certain amount of days. Let's take a few days off and get a little time off the ship and relax a little bit. There's none of that when it comes to SIU. So, but you'll get a lot more experience a lot quicker. Now, going to MSC, they hire directly for entry-level positions under certain fields. So you're either going to become a steward utility, or you get signed on as an OS apprenticeship program or a wiper apprenticeship program when you get contracted. So if those are the areas you want to go, you're going to really talk to that recruiter and make sure that your application says, I really only want the wiper apprenticeship program. But with those programs comes a lot of stipulations. You have deadlines that you have to achieve a certain amount of watches. So when you're hired on by MSC, and again, I didn't go through this program, but this is just from what I've seen from watching everybody else go on. And somebody that actually did this program might be able to give you a more in-depth perspective about it. But for a lot of them that I've seen that got stuck in the program, it was because they didn't play their cards right. And I'm going to tell you, when you show up on a ship in this program, you're getting assigned to the steward department, to the galley, and you're helping prepare food and bringing stores on board. And you're doing all these things. But based on your personality and how hard you are willing to work are outside opportunities for you to do stuff. So you could be assigned to the fire party. You could be assigned to do ammo unload and discharges of the ship. You could, during the unreps, you're going to be out there participating in the unreps, maintaining lines, learning about how things go on. And there is a lot of opportunities to get all the training and stuff that you want to learn. But you have to kind of seek it out. You have to go talk to the chief mate and the bosun if you're on deck and say, bosun, I really want to learn about this stuff. I really want, and you got to volunteer your off time sometimes to go stand watches. And that's the rub between MSC and SIU being union, because SIU is going to get you your watches, and they're going to put you into those programs and have you run right away, where MSC needs you to fill those galley commitments, and they're not really focused on getting you qualified. You have to work. You have to go stand those watches. You have to spend your off time doing those things. And quite often I've seen mariners that come in and they're like, yeah, I want to do it. I want to be on deck. But it was a long day in the kitchen today, and I had to be up at 5 a.m. and serve. And I'm not going to BS you. It's hard to squander the effort to want to go do certain things after you spent a whole day busting your balls doing something else. So you have to put in the extra effort to get those qualifications to make sure that you can get out of the steward utility department. Because It's kind of a double-edged sword, because if you're a good worker, they don't want to let you go. And if you're a shit worker, they're more than happy to let you go work for deck. But then deck department, if they hear you're a bad worker, they don't want you either. But there's all types of things, of opportunities to volunteer on the flight deck, on deck, doing all different types of evolutions that you do on your boat. And you've got to have that gumption and effort to go do it. Nobody's going to handhold you with MSC. You're grown up. Now, part of the stipulation for getting into that OS advancement program and everything after the 18 months, and you're supposed to get your AB school, your lifeboat school, and your survival courses and the classes you need to upgrade to ordinary seaman to get out of the SU position. Now, you could just go pay for those courses on your own. MSC will pay to help you become an AB, an able-bodied seaman. But if you're standing the watches on your off time, and you have vacation time, and you spend the $3,500 to go take these courses on your own, you could upgrade your license or your MMD on your own. Nobody's going to make, and then you don't owe MSC that 3 years. So where there's a will, there's a way. And nobody's going to hold you down, but there is no pep talks when it comes to a lot of this stuff with Military Sealift Command guys and the Merchant Marine field all in all. And if you get in, there's tons of opportunity, but you got to kind of seek out your own mentors and the people that you're going to look up to and work with and motivate yourself with, because it's not high school. There's no career counselor. There's nobody saying, poor you, what's going on with you in your life today? It's go to work, you get paid, you do the job, and you grind and you hustle. So I just kind of wanted to, your email in question, I thought it was fantastic. I think that's important, especially for my channel here, is I want everybody to realize that this is hard work. You're getting into MSC or SIU. You got a hard day ahead of you. There's going to be days when you're going to be out in the cold, working in the cold, and you're going to get wet and you're going to hate it. And the winds are going to be blowing 60, 70 miles per hour. And you're going to be out on deck having to close hatches or secure some cargo because it's an emergent situation. Being in the Merchant Marine can be an inherently dangerous job at times. And, we don't haphazardly put ourselves in harm's way. We don't go into storms intentionally. We don't, not tie down gear. We don't not do things the right way the first time. But sometimes you got to get out there because nobody else is going to do it. If the ship's on fire, you got to put the firefighting ensemble on, and you got to go down into that engineering space, and you got to help fight the fire, because there's no 911 to call. There's nobody going to come save you but you and your shipmates that you're on that boat with. So, but it is a lot of fun. It is a great job. There is a lot of opportunities, but it's a lot of hard work too, guys. So hopefully you guys get some value out of this. Make sure you leave your comments below, like, subscribe, and we'll hit you on the next one. Have a great night, guys.